Today on A Hit of Health.
In that case, it'd be fine. They wouldn't even need to go to the hospital. Versus you get someone who gets COVID, like an elderly person or an immunocompromised person, and they start to get the pneumonia that the disease brings on, and it starts to spread to the lungs really fast. Then yes, that case is for sure serious. The most important thing you can do, I don't care what you believe, I don't care how you think it started, I don't care whatever. The most important thing you can do, listeners, is to have good hand hygiene. Wash your hands. Live your same life, just be more cognizant, be more self-aware. Watch what you touch. If you realize you're touching something potentially dirty, like a handrail or anything like that, don't touch your face, don't touch your nose, don't touch other people until you wash your hands, or your hand sanitizer real quick.
Five, four, three, two, one, lift off.
Cool.
All right, man. So, Nico, my brother.
Mr. Nate. What's up, man?
Man, glad we're getting to do this.
Me too, brother. Me too.
This is it's exciting. It took a couple tries, but we're making it happen. I never had a doubt.
Absolutely, man.
So, I obviously talking about the COVID deal a little bit. But what's been going on? What's life been like?
Well, for me, you talking from like a nursing perspective, or just in general?
Let's go high low. How about life? How about life? And then we can drill down to work.
Life is always good, my man. Life is always good. Just here in Columbia, working as a nurse, living the dream. I mean, honestly, it's the last time I saw you, and I know it's been a hot minute since I saw you. Life has been the same, just more of the same, which is good, man. Just sitting here in Columbia trying to make a living with a wife, the dog, that whole thing. Traveling in between, all that stuff. Nothing's really changed until the whole COVID thing came on. So, other than that, even with COVID, life is good, bro. Life is always good. As long as I wake up and I'm breathing, life is good.
Has anything changed? I mean, has this really affected you much?
Well, yes and no. I'd say yes and no. Affected me in the sense that, like I can't, I'm a pretty social guy. I can't just go out and, hang out, wherever now, we have to social distance and all that stuff. Other than that, I mean, for me, like I said, I can only speak to my experience. My life hasn't honestly changed that much. I mean, work is busier. Yeah. Work is definitely busier. Stuff like that. But life in general, no, not really. I mean, luckily for me, the only things that I have to rework my way around is I have to just find a new place to work out. So I've been like scrounging around from like, some home gym stuff. But like one of my big hobbies is shooting. And shooting is, they're all shooting ranges and like gun stores right now are classified federally as like the essential businesses. So they don't close down. And luckily, the shooting range I'm a member at, it's a really, really wide open outdoorsy space. So even if there's a lot of people, there's still plenty of space to spread out. So I've been actually staying pretty active. Although the only real big change that I've had to do is like I've had to start running again. And I'm not a runner because like my gym is closed. I've been trying to find different ways to get tired. So like literally for me, like I said, that's only how it's changed. I mean, a little bit more extra stress at work, but other than that, life is pretty much the same. I'm just trying to make do with what's going on. So life is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't want to be invading breaking the social distancing rule at a gun range. You know what I mean? You don't want to. It's a bad place to piss somebody off.
Exactly. Yeah, man. But it's all really good. Like I said, I'm lucky because like I said, all my main hobbies, or most of my main hobbies, I can still kind of do and adapt around versus having to cancel everything like a lot of people. So yeah. I'm lucky in that regard.
You sound good, man. I mean, you sound you got the same awesome energy. You're up there.
Yeah,
you're moving.
I mean, it kind of it doesn't make me sad, but I get it bothers me when there are things, unfortunately, like we can't, like no one can control the whole COVID thing. I can't control it, you can't control it. So it's like right. I see a lot of panicking and all that stuff, and for me it's like, man, the way I look at it is like no matter what the world throws at me, I'm gonna have to deal with it. I'd rather deal with it smiling and having a good time versus sulking around and being down in the dumps. So like COVID, no COVID, I'm gonna stay the same. The way I look at it is COVID's got to deal with me. I don't have to deal with COVID. You know what I
mean? Bad time to be COVID around Nico. That's funny. It's you're obviously such a positive guy. What about everybody else at work? What are they like? Any challenges?
So, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Everybody looks at life differently because the way you look at life is comes from how you were raised and the experiences you've had. So sometimes it's hard to stay. It can be hard to stay positive, especially for a lot of people in the hospital. I mean, I definitely notice maybe not fear, but uncertainty. A lot of people don't. They just don't know what's in the future, and that scares them. And that, it's definitely understandable. But I just see a lot of uncertainty, not necessarily fear or anything in the hospital. Just, people are worried about what's going to come next in the future, sort of thing. Other than that, I mean, everyone's on high alert for sure in the hospital, especially everyone's washing their hands. Well, we do that anyway, as healthcare workers, but
usually
we're definitely more doubly cognizant of that, all that stuff. But I don't see, like I said, I see. And like with anything, I see increased stress because, like I said, there's more stressors. But other than that, from my perspective, like I said, it's mostly just life as normal. We're just, nurses and healthcare workers are just adapting to survive like the rest of the world, honestly. So it's the way I look at it is just another day on the job for me, the way I look at it. But but I've noticed with other people, there's uncertainty. I wouldn't even call it fear. I would just call it uncertainty because a lot of people are scared about what they don't know. If they don't know what's going to happen, they might be a little scared. So that's what I see.
So does it feel like an emergency?
It just depends. I mean, you got to take it case by case, man. That's why I don't like talking about big numbers too much because it's hard for people to really quantify that, especially for people who have no healthcare experience or who don't know what it's like with serious patients. So, in some cases, it's definitely for sure an emergency. Like if you have COVID and you fall within that, immunocompromised group or within that age range where it's dangerous, things can go downhill pretty quick. But then again, you'll have people who have COVID for a little while and recover miraculously, not even miraculously, bad word, recover really well. Mm-hmm. And they don't need any, serious care at all. So it's really case to case. And I think as healthcare workers, it's really important as a healthcare worker to not panic, not cause panic, because out of everybody, we need to have the most level heads. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I definitely, there's more stress for sure, but we can handle that. It's no problem. You know what I mean? Like I said, the way I'm looking at COVID now is I'm just looking at it as it's another day at the hospital for me. We still got a gown up, we still got a glove, we still got to do our job. So I personally don't stress about it too much. Yeah. But it's like I said, it's case by case, man. That's why I don't like to put a big blanket statement on everything. For some people, it is very serious. For other people, it's actually not that serious. So, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I know. You're definitely somebody who it's like this guy is going to keep his shit together if anything goes weird.
You got to, man. You got. I mean, it's the one thing. It's like even. I mean, I hate saying this, but even I see healthcare professionals that I work closely with, and healthcare professionals in general, the way, from my point of view, a lot of what they'll post loosely on Facebook and all that stuff, a lot of it's information that the public might not necessarily be able to, quantify or comprehend fully. It's information is useless to people unless they know how to use it. Yeah. So too much info, honestly, is bad because it will cause a panic. You're seeing it in media already where, they'll concentrate on a certain case and they'll the worst of all the cases and they'll only talk about that the whole time. And when the reality is that, hey, the majority of cases, people are living. Are people dying? Yes, for sure. People are getting hurt and it's serious, but two things can be true at the same time. One, you don't have to panic. Two, COVID is serious, but at the same time, like I said, panicking and losing your head over it doesn't help at all. So, like I said, one more time because that didn't really sound good, but two things can be true at the same time. One, we are saving more lives than we are losing, and then two, COVID is for sure serious, and you should take it seriously. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, totally. No, for sure. What's something I was curious about is at the hospitals. I mean, is the treatment? Is your time? Is there a challenge with now you have an increased number of patients? Is everybody who doesn't have COVID getting the attention they need?
Yes. Okay. So that's a really good question. So with all the concentration of COVID, people start to forget that, hey, that doesn't hamper any other, morbidities or comorbidities that people are coming into the hospital. People are still having strokes. People are still having operations. People are still getting sick without COVID. You know what I mean? So yes, that's a really good question. I've seen an increase in the effort to triage. So if it's a serious COVID patient and they need a vent, all that stuff, the nurses and healthcare providers are really trying to send those vents. And like I said, we do this already with or without COVID, because not even just having a ventilator, having an ICU bed is a big deal. And like I said, lots of times that influx of patients in the hospital, we're short on ICU beds without COVID. So there's definitely an uptick in effort with trying to triage the patients the right way and the most efficient way. That way, everyone who needs a bed or an ICU bed has one. So yeah, for sure.
Just for the layman like myself, what does triage mean?
Oh, totally sorry. Triage is excuse me. Triage is a fancy word and a fancy way of saying of delineating. So basically saying like, this group is more serious than this group, so this group gets the supplies first. That's triaging.
Oh, prioritization.
Exactly.
Freaky concept, to be honest. Especially in this.
It is.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I tell people all the time, like if you want to cut it down to the most layman's terms, you're deciding who gets help first.
Crazy.
Yep.
Is COVID?
Hard decisions to make, man. Like I said, that's why I see a lot of people, on social media and stuff, like complaining about it. Like, people don't understand, like, when you're in those positions, like, that's hard to do, because like I said, you have to delineate who gets care first. And like I said, there's if you get too emotional with it, that could be a hard job, because because if someone's getting care, obviously the other person that you skipped over isn't going to get it yet. So that's a hard job, People don't take that into consideration when they criticize, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so two things on that. One, how do you even do that? And two, where does COVID fall in the priority list right now? I guess it maybe depends on the seriousness.
Okay, so you just do a simple way to do it is ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation. Like you triage people according to which of those ABCs are most compromised. You know what I'm saying? In regards to your second question with COVID, I'm going to go back to my previous answer and say it depends on the case. Like I said, there might be, I don't know, tons of young people that have COVID that never even come to the hospital, never even present with symptoms. Yeah. That case would be fine. They wouldn't even need to go to the hospital. Versus you get someone who gets COVID, like an elderly person or an immunocompromised person, and they start to get the pneumonia that the disease brings on, and it starts to spread to the lungs really fast. That yes, that case is for sure serious. So like I said, it's very much on a case-by-case basis. Yeah.
Is COVID unique in its variability of seriousness?
It's like I said, I don't want to speak like I'm an authority, but from my basic understanding, it's from a family of viruses called coronaviruses. Coronaviruses are not unique. They've been old. They've been around for a long time. My wife is a pediatric nurse, and she actually works in the children's hospital, and they deal with not the new COVID that just came out, but they have dealt with coronavirus patients for it's a normal thing to them in that way. Coronavirus is the novel coronavirus. The reason why they call it novel is because novel means new. So it's a new virus. Honestly, man, long story short, nature has been trying to kill us, has been trying to kill mankind since the beginning that mankind started, with plague or flu or anything like that. All this is another way of nature trying to kill us, and man has to adapt to survive from it, unfortunately. Just like any other virus, man. Viruses mutate, just like the flu. The flu also can mutate, all that, just like COVID. Novel coronavirus came from a mutated, like OG kind of coronavirus, to my understanding. Like I said, always double check, but to my understanding,
right,
yes.
Right.
So no, it's not. It's yes and no. Yes, this strain is new. No, it's not new in that sort of old world kind of sense.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's so interesting. Okay, let's talk about beating it. Let's talk about how to adapt. I mean, what can anyone do? I mean, it sounds like you get it. I mean, there's no prevention. We don't have antibodies for the specific thing yet. What can what can John do in
the most important thing you can do? I don't care what you believe. I don't care how you think it started. I don't care whatever. The most important thing you can do, listeners, is to have good hand hygiene. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. That's the most important thing you can do. On top of that, you want to stack the cards in your favor. Obviously, social distance, like I said. And like I said, people confuse social distancing with social isolation. You don't need to live in complete isolation, but like I said, you definitely want to keep it, what are they saying, like 6 feet away from another person, blah, blah, blah. Yep. But more so if you notice that they're coughing or that they're sickly, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, social distancing, all that stuff, not, just trying to avoid large crowds of people. You still got to live your life. You still got to get your bare essentials, but you shouldn't be going out to the bar. Obviously, no bars are open or anything like that. Shouldn't be going out to parties, all that sort of stuff until this dies down. So yeah, most important thing I'd say, wash your hands. And then number 2, most important thing I'd say, social distancing, all that stuff, keeping away, or keeping your distance from other people just until all this dies down and the rates finally start to flatten and come down. Yeah, that's my advice.
What about after this does die down? I mean, should we still my understanding is that if I wash my hands too much, I might be susceptible to disease. I mean,
say that again. I'm sorry.
Like my understanding is that if I wash my hands too much, it might make me I'm developing less antibodies, and then now I'm more susceptible to disease.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely one of those things that too much of anything is bad, right? So you don't have to wash your hands every time you touch an object. It's one of those things. Just be more cognizant of it. Mm-hmm. People don't understand the reason why stuff like this spreads, or the reason why just random stuff spreads, is because people don't realize how many times they touch other objects, and then they touch their mouth, they touch their nose, they rub their eyes, all that stuff. So yeah, people don't realize that. Live the same life, live your same life, just be more cognizant, be more self-aware. Watch what you touch. If you realize you're touching something potentially dirty, like a handrail or anything like that, don't touch your face, don't touch your nose, don't touch other people until you wash your hands or hand sanitize real quick. So that's the only thing, just the main stuff. Honestly, what you need to do is people need to relearn common sense. Common sense is the worst misnomer in the English language, because common sense is not common. So yeah, man, it's like, you don't have to take a full body shower after touching one thing, but just be more cognizant, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see an uptick in. Maybe it's a good time to invest in some of the whoever makes Purell.
Yeah, for sure, right? If we could have read the future, I would have bought tons of stock in hand sanitizer.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's crazy, man. Well, I mean, that's so funny. Just returning to common sense and taking care of stuff. It is funny to think, like, I don't know if I ever thought about on a daily basis, unless I was really dirty.
Even myself. You don't. You're living life. You're too busy. And like I said, it's unhealthy to worry too much about germs at the end of the day. So like I said, but unfortunately now that we have this new coronavirus going around, you just have to be a little bit more cognizant. So that's all. It's all just being more cognizant, washing your hands, Because like I said, people wash their hands every day, whether they do or not. It's just they don't realize how much the time they're touching their face and other stuff. So, that's all.
Nico, are you nervous at all about this, man? Does this sweat make you sweat at all?
Nope. The only thing, honestly, man, I'm not nervous. I'm just hyper aware. It's like even people I work with, a lot of times people think I'm not taking stuff seriously because I have no reaction to it. But I'm just keeping calm, man. Any just incendiary reaction, it's not going to help anything, man. You got to be calm. And am I scared? No, I'm not scared. I'm hyper aware. I'm aware that stuff could go bad if the economy doesn't come back up. I'm aware of what happens when unemployment rates to a certain level. All that kind of stuff. But at the same time, how much power do I have over those things? How much can I control? I can only control things in my immediate environment. And every time I tell myself that, I worry less. So yeah, I'm just hyper aware, man. I definitely wouldn't say scared. It takes a lot for me to get scared, and I'm not scared yet. We'll put it that way. Yeah. It hasn't gotten to that point yet.
What do you say to somebody who is nervous?
You still there, Nate?
What do you say to somebody who is nervous?
Got you. What I would say to someone who is nervous, the same things I tell myself. I'd say, do you have direct control over this problem? And then, obviously there'll be some internal dialogue. They'll say no. So then I'm like, there's no point in worrying about it. You have to worry about the variables in your life you can't control. You can't save the entire world. You can't save everyone. That's what people need to realize. So to worry about this stuff, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Another thing I'd say, turn off the media. Every time I turn on media, every time I scroll any kind of social media, I see gaslighting. Like I said, so many people act like they know what they're talking about, when in reality, no one knew this coronavirus was coming. No one knows, everyone thinks they're an epidemiologist. Everyone thinks they're, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not trying to judge their intent. They're just trying to help. But at the same time, turn off media, turn off all that kind of stuff, because it's just there to panic you, honestly. Because like I said, if you think about it, panicking is not going to help you. It doesn't matter if coronavirus is even more deadly than what they're saying. you panicking, you worrying about it's not going to help you think straight. It's not going to help you live your life in the right way. So I would say have less stimuli. Have less stimuli and concentrate on the things you can control. That's what I would tell them. Because like I said, if you think about it, if you play it out and you game theory it, if it's the worst of the worst, like I said, panicking is not going to help you anyway. So no point in panicking.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, man. That makes me feel better. For people listening, I hope that makes you feel better. That you know, that's from a guy who you know who has that
I'm on the front lines, man. I could easily get the coronavirus, I could easily get all that. But like I said, man, I try and work. I've been a nurse for 10 years. I try and worry about things I can control because everything else is a waste of time and energy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's just mindset, man. It's just mindset. The way you look at the world directly affects how you interact with it. So if you're looking at the world in a scared way, you're going to interact with the world that way. Not good. So it's best to keep your emotions in check. And like I said, worry about the things you can control. That's how you put one foot in front of the other instead of, getting scared and running away.
All right, brother. Well, that's awesome, man. I can't wait to touch a little more on that one and the next one.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, I think that's great for now, man. I really appreciate it. I can't thank you enough for the time.
No, it's my pleasure, man. I'm glad we get to catch up, man. I'm glad you called me and asked me about this whole thing. I think it's great that you're starting a podcast and doing your own thing. This is super dope.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it. All right, let me let you go. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely, Nate.
All right,
I'll talk to you soon, bro.
Thanks, Nico. See ya.
All right. Anytime, man.